Like a fresh towel.
Rorator Pharmaceutical, makers of the world's leading tablet for gas,
Fascinating.
was in trouble.
My empire is crumbling!
They needed a new product.
We might be releasing the most effective antidepressant ever.
Go on.
Really don't have my notes with me.
They needed it now.
Is it ready for production?
Yes, sir. It's ready to go.
Have there been any side effects?
Yes, sir. A few side effects. Woohoo! Is this the result we're looking for?
Paramount Pictures and Lakeshore Entertainment present the first motion picture from the kids in the hall.
We think that everyone should have access to it, like ghetto children. Apparently their lives are horrible.
If you know them, you know what to expect.
Really kinky stuff like two dogs making love with a cat.
If you don't,
Hey, you kids, get out from under that lady's dress.
we apologize in advance. Oh, David Foley,
So your dad's dead. Is that eggnog?
Bruce McCulloch,
Something wrong?
No.
Kevin McDonald,
The handcuffs totally necessary, officer.
That was your husband's idea.
Mark McKinney,
The baby kid.
Did you feel that?
Scott Thompson,
I'll be good. I'll learn to like hockey.
Five Guys,
Mrs. Hurdiker?
Get out of my head! Get out of my head!
multiple personalities,
Do you think I look too feminine?
one movie. The Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy.
It's got your eyes. And it's got features that look like various friends of mine. Hey!
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and you are gay. I know it. Your family knows it. Dogs know it. Everyone seems to know it except you. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister, the host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Oh, Canada. That's all I know.
We are dorking out about 1996's Brain Candy, The Kids in the Hall Brain Candy. It's directed by Kelly Macon, and it was written by, and I can't believe this is a person's name, Norm Hiscock. It's not her cock, it's his cock.
Stop. I'm just coughing because I can't.
Bruce McCulloch, Kevin McDonald, Mark McKinney, Scott Thompson. This movie we're talking about because it's finally available for it's available for rent finally on Amazon or Vudu or wherever you rent your movies. Originally, we thought it was like streaming on Paramount Plus. It isn't, but it's available for rent. If you haven't seen this movie, please pause and go watch and come back. This movie was...
None of this will make sense.
None of this will make sense if you haven't seen this movie because the movie's super weird. I want to say this movie did not do very well when it was in the box office. It had a budget of $8 million and it made not even $3 million. But it definitely found an audience on like Comedy Central. I think it plays better on TV than it would have in the theater. Oh, and the movie is starring the kids in the hall. So everyone I just named, plus Dave Foley. So Bruce McCulloch, Kevin McDonald, Mark McKinney, Scott Thompson, Dave Foley. Did you see this in the theater?
No.
Were you one of the 5 people that saw this in the theater?
No, I wish I had, but I also glad I didn't because I probably would have been really disappointed.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think it plays better on TV. But I was a huge Kids in the Hall fan.
Yeah, I know you are, and you've watched the reunion specials, and
I've seen them live.
Yeah, she's a big fan, y'all. So
yeah,
I watched the show when it was on Comedy Central, and then I didn't see the movie in the theater. I saw it. I think I rented it actually when it came out, and that's how I saw it. And I remember laughing at parts of it, but I also understood, like, yeah, this wouldn't play well in a theater. It's just not that movie. It feels like it was made for TV. It
absolutely was, and I think part of it was also, like, I think they said, like, Dave Foley, he wasn't a part of the movie as much. He was starting, he was a part of the writing process, and then he quit because he was doing news radio.
Right.
So I think he was like, peace, I gotta I'm out of here.
Yeah, and I've read a little bit about the backstory, and apparently most of them are pretty disappointed with the way the movie turned out. They think it's a little cursed. All of them were going through horrible times in their lives, like in personal stuff.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, they don't seem to be having as much fun as you would see when you watch the show.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, let me give you a little summary. Basically, a group of researchers, they're working in the basement of like a pharmaceutical company. The company is like, they're known for something called Stummies, and it's basically Tums. It's Tums or Alka-Seltzer or whatever. And so they're working on a drug that cures depression. And what it does is it unlocks a memory chemically and then makes you happy chemically. It's basically a Prozac. It latches on to like your happiest memory, and you just become insanely happy. But then it turns out it has a side effect where like some of the people get locked in that memory and they're basically in a waking coma and
singing Funky Town.
That's my favorite memory.
I did like that. I was going to sing that and I forgot, so I sang "Oh Canada" instead.
Yeah, so there's a group down and by the way, the movie it stars all these kids in the hall. So if you watch Kids in the Hall, you know the deal. Like they play multiple parts. They're dressed in different characters. Like sometimes they're in drag, sometimes they're just playing all kinds of different characters. A few from the show. There's like a really shitty cab driver that for some reason is narrating the movie that I'm not quite sure, but he's from the show. I think, and this is a very unfortunate segment that still didn't play well at the time and doesn't play well now. A character named Cancer Boy who...
Yeah, I don't know why they're super attached to that one. It was Bruce McCulloch's.
Yeah.
And they said that when they went to Paramount, so that's why I thought it was on. I thought for sure it was going to be on Paramount Plus because Paramount's the one that's been holding it back.
Yes.
But anyway, so Paramount, apparently one of the executives had a kid with cancer or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I don't think that's great. And they were fighting to keep, and I understand you need to fight to keep your vision, and comedy's supposed to be weird and push the boundary.
Yes.
But I kind of like, it doesn't play today. I'm just sort of like,
yeah.
Ugh.
I will say that back when I was younger, and this is a total younger person attitude, you kind of get this, hey, nothing's above a joke. Like,
yeah,
everything can be funny. And then when you get a little older, you're like, actually, like,
no, yeah, exactly.
You
don't know what other people are going through, and they're gonna. It's like a punch in their fucking face.
Yeah.
Your cheap joke.
Yeah. The idea of like punching down, it's like, that's why the joke about there's a character that Bruce McCulloch plays named Grievo, who's like clearly Danzig, right? He's like got the like mutton chops and he comes out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I gotta
he's
find
like,
that clip.
And he's like a famous, he's like, he comes out and he's just like, fuck happiness. And he's, and it's very funny. And like, he takes the drug and, he does a whole song that's like happiness pie. And it's like a very ridiculous song.
I like those scenes with the fans.
Yes.
He's like, I'm talking about drugs. Heroin? No. That's that people go,
horse tranquilizers.
No, not horse tranquilizers. Those scenes made me laugh.
Yes.
And Danzig there's a great clip. It's Danzig with a bookshelf. And he's just talking about books in his bookshelf. And he's just this big beefy guy. These are my books.
Mother.
And he's a cat guy too. So he poses a lot with his cat. So Danzig's cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's a funny character. And they all have different characters that they play. And this is definitely like sketch comedy vibe. Like my favorite, probably a lot of people's favorites, is the character Wally. And that's played by Scott Thompson. And he is a closeted gay man who is not fooling anyone.
The one scene with him and Mark McKinney, and they're playing undercover cops.
Yes.
Or they're playing cops,
Yes.
and they're about to do a bust, and he says to him, "Okay, you go over there and fuck those guys, and I'm gonna masturbate."
And he's like, "Yes, sir."
That did make me laugh stupid hard.
He's super closeted. He's like upstairs, like we see him like upstairs, like jerking it to gay porn, and like and then it pans down to his kids who are downstairs watching TV. The mom comes home from the store or something, and she's like, "Where's your father?" And they say he's upstairs masturbating to gay porn, and the mother's all, "Again?"
Guess what? I'm gay.
Yay!
I'm gay! He's gay! I'm gay!
He's gay!
Everyone knows he's gay, and he's just in total denial. Like, why do these gay men keep trying to kiss me? And like, they're like, "'Cause you grabbed his ass," or, you know, there's a whole thing where like the cops are out drinking and they go into like a public restroom, and like all these gay men come running out because it's like where they go to like secretly get it on, and he gets arrested, and he's butt ass naked. Scott Thompson doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's naked, showing his ass through this whole movie. He gets arrested. They like handcuff him, and the wife is like, "Were the handcuffs necessary?" And they're like, "It was his idea." And finally the therapist is like, "You're gay. Everyone knows you're gay. Your dog knows you're gay." So they give him the Gleeman-X, is what they call it in the movie, the happiness pill, and he like instantly starts singing, "Did you hear the news? I'm gay." And there's like a whole musical number.
He's gay.
He's gay. Did you hear the news? He's gay. And everyone's dancing. It's definitely a highlight, and the thing that stuck out to me years later from the movie is still funny. Just, "Did you hear the news? He's gay." And his happy memory is what you're talking about, him and Mark McKinney, like, "We're gonna do push-ups together all day." He's like, he's in the army, like, it's super macho. It's totally cracks me up. What else? We also have actually Scott Thompson again playing like the old lady who they give the pill to because she's severely depressed. She's like their test subject, and her happiest memory is this like really shitty visit on Christmas from her son, played by Dave Foley. And he's such a dick to her. And she's like, "Well, that was lovely." Like, that's her happy memory. Who else we get? Oh, the owner of the pharmaceutical company is played by Mark McKinney, who's clearly Lorne Michaels.
I think it's the first Lorne Michaels impersonation that we have in a movie. This is before, God damn it, what's the movie I'm thinking of? Mike Myers.
Yeah, Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. It's before Austin Powers. So, yeah, it took me a little bit. I'm like, oh, he's doing, and that made me laugh.
Yes, and he's doing a really good job. You can see why Mark McKinney was on SNL later. There's Dave Foley plays like his assistant. Dave Foley's roles are, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't appear as often in the movie.
He wasn't in the movie,
Yeah.
right? He gave up on the writing of the script. I think like he sort of like, I'm just gonna, you guys do what you want. I think this is what I think. He said, "You do what you want. I'm gonna be working on this, so just call me when you need me," kind of thing, which is not what we want from them.
No, and I mean, and Dave Foley has gone on to do like really great stuff. Like, he was in this most recent season of Fargo. He was so good.
And News Radio was great.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
And they've since like made up, from what I understand. And
they've toured a bunch of times.
Yeah, they've toured
since then.
together.
Yeah.
So they all worked it out. But this movie is like this weird thing for them. So Mark McKinney's playing the head of the pharmaceutical company. And when they realize that he says, when we didn't have a Christmas or a back to school drug, our board started to get nervous. So that's when they decide to like really try to find something to push out. And they go with Gleeman-X, even though it hasn't been tested. So they don't know that everyone's going to go in this coma. We get a cameo from Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
So happy to see a young Brendan Fraser. He's in the placebo group and he's like, his face it's covered in zits. He's all, I'm in the placebo group. My face is telling me you're giving me sugar. And they're like, we can't tell you. Like, poor Brendan Fraser. A couple other things that crack me up, random characters. The scientist who has invented a drug that only gives worms to ex-girlfriends. What about ex-boyfriends? No, only ex-girlfriends. We have, what else? Oh, Bruce McCulloch again playing the like man who like runs their PR agency. He plays such a dick. Like such a dick. He's so good at it. He's also playing... Actually, I should probably talk about the scientists too. Interesting choice to go with Kevin McDonald is basically the lead of this movie.
He didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. He said like, because he likes to react to things.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be the generator of the material.
Yes.
He's good though.
He does a good job. He really does. I could see a different version of this movie where they put Dave Foley in that role. But,
yes.
But I think Kevin McDonald does a good job. I did laugh out loud when he's on the talk show and they're like, you look like Tom Jones. And they like, go on, wiggle your hips. And he's like trying to dance. And again, Bruce McCulloch playing. I love that they commit to looking like women when they dress in drag. And Bruce McCulloch is playing Alice. Alice. She's like another one of the scientists who's in love with Chris. And she's always like, Chris, you said the drug was safe. Chris, we almost kissed.
I'm beautiful.
I could have had anyone. I'm beautiful. He really I almost called him a she. She cracks me up. He cracks me up. He does a really good job. Unlike Monty Python when they dressed in drag and they never really looked like women. I love that the kids in the hall really look like women and they really commit. And it's one of the things that I think, I don't know, it just works. I love that they do that. So they market Gleeman-X as it feels like it's 72 degrees in your head all the time. That's their big line.
Yeah, that's the push.
I think this movie was ahead of its time. And it's another reason why it might play better now that it's streaming. In that
it's in the vein of Idiocracy.
Yes.
Yeah. Which we didn't, which at the time, it's almost like it's so dumb sometimes, but look what the times we live in now.
Well, and Prozac was definitely a thing in 96, but it wasn't to the extent that we have now where like every commercial is for a drug of some kind. And
the after effects.
And the after effects the side effects are so long.
And fast.
Every drug and fast, fast, just like the diarrhea you are most definitely going to get from taking.
May cause constipation, sleeplessness, a limp dick. Your head will fall off. Your cats will hate you.
You'll lose all your fingernails. All kinds of. Every ad I have on anytime I watch something with an ad, which I don't do very often, but I have a few. All the ads are for drugs and all the ads look the same. It's like people riding bikes, people walking in parks, and it's all just a drug that's going to like make you happy in some way, helps with your blood in some way. They all look the same. exactly the same. So in a way, this movie was just ahead of its time. The marketing of every single drug. What else? Oh yeah, I already talked about the Danzig character. Everyone loves him because his music is so dark and fucked up and it's like fuck happy. But eventually he takes the drug too and all of his fans lose their shit.
Right. And this is like a few years after grunge started too.
Yes.
So sort of that leftover, I think, tiredness of grunge.
Yes.
But I think the Brady Bunch did that a little bit better.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he writes his song Happiness Pie, and there's a very weird music video for it with everybody, and they all dance in a horrible looking pie that I know the water, people 100% peed in that water. Like, unacceptable. Gross. Let's see, what else? Oh, Chris gets super famous. That's the Kevin McDonald. And he just becomes insufferable. Like a real prick. He's nasty to everybody. This is what we get for a story. This is the closest we get to a story in this movie. Is Chris going from like the shy scientist nerd to like a pompous jackass to realizing that his drug is making people slip into comas. And it starts with back to the old lady played by Scott Thompson, who is now trapped in her memory. And Chris goes to visit her at her house. And all of her cats are also on the drug. And they're like on the ceiling. Do you remember this part?
Yes. Yeah.
And then one of the cats like jumps down and falls on his head and he runs around and he's like, "Cat on my head! Cat on my head!" And we start meeting all these other people who are now trapped in their memories. And that's where we get the woman whose favorite memory is being at the disco dancing to Funky Town, which I was like, that might be my favorite of all the memories. What else? Wally, the gay man, is stuck in his memory of that's where he's like, you go have sex with those guys and he'll masturbate. And he runs off and his pants are like wide open in the back, like his butt's just hanging out. I have to ask you, who is your MVP for this movie?
Oh God, I think Bruce McCulloch.
Bruce McCulloch is a good pick. I was thinking him or Scott Thompson. Like Scott Thompson always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, even as like the other scientist where they're testing the drug at the end and just the walk he does, and he always kills me. But the two of them, they're all in. They go for it. I appreciate them. Let's see what happens. It basically ends with like a big press conference and a standoff. And then Chris is like, you know, everyone's going into comas. And honestly, it just turns out that people are fine with it. This is how it ends. It ends with people going, I'd rather just be happy and maybe go into a coma. And so no one listens. The end.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, the scientists are still down in like a basement somewhere trying to come up with a cure, but it turns out that people are like, no, I would rather be happy even if it means I'm going to end up in a coma. And you know, the movie has this motto of the only way to be happy is to know that you're not going to be happy every single day. But nobody in the movie learns that lesson. And that's funny and sadly, strangely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's worth watching.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
It is. It's absolutely worth watching. And if you're a fan of the Kids in the Hall, then you'll love it. You know, you'll see why it's not really a movie. It's not like it's not a movie theater movie.
No.
It's very much a TV. It's a bunch of those sketches put together.
Exactly.
Which is fine by me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's short too, by the way, 89 minutes. Like, it's the perfect length for this kind of movie. I think it's very silly, and I caught a lot of different things this time around that I didn't catch last time. I wish it was just streaming instead of renting, because I don't foresee myself renting it again. But if it was just streaming, I might just put it on as something to watch.
Yeah.
while I'm doing stuff. Do you have an idea of what memory you would get trapped in?
Oh, that's a good question. I did win first prize in an art competition once when I was a kid.
Ooh.
And I got the trophy, and they announced it. Like, I went to the principal's office and they took my picture with the trophy, and there was a girl named Stephanie who was a total bitch and told me that my picture was ugly, and my mom hated her mom, and it was a big deal that I got to beat Stephanie and got first place. Yeah, so that's my memory.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
You would just be in it all the time. First prize. First prize.
First prize. Got my trophy here. Fuck you, Stephanie.
Suck a dick.
I guess you don't care about forest fires as much as I do. It was a forest fire competition, like, poster.
Amazing.
It was a very big deal in the 70s to have, like, to prevent forest fires.
That's a great one. I love it.
What was yours?
So funny. I wrote it down for you and didn't even think to what would be mine. There is something like really exhilarating about winning something.
Yes.
You know,
especially if you didn't mean to, if you didn't expect to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I absolutely didn't mean to win. I was in a journalism competition when I was like I'm going to say 20. I was like 20, and I won first prize of a on the spot news reporting competition, like where they like held a press conference and all these college students wrote a news story, and I won first place, and it was like so unexpected, and I was like so insanely proud because it was like journalists from like all over the state.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
And I couldn't believe it because news reporting was, I didn't think it was my jam. I was like, no, I'll do it though. And then I won, and I was like, oh, it was like
What was the topic?
I was like, I was prom queen or something. I was what?
What was the topic?
What was the topic? I want to say it was something about like a drug organization. Like, of course, they wanted to teach us a lesson, you know, about drugs are bad and God, I don't remember really. It was something like that though, but it was about the way the media covers drugs, and I think I had a lead of the story that was something like, you know, the times are a changing, but the newspapers are missing the story, or something to that effect. I was so proud. Anyway, would you like to... Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out before I forget. Siskel and Ebert had one of their heated disagreements over this movie.
Really?
Yes, and if you want to all go on YouTube and look it up, Gene Siskel gave this movie 3.5 stars and said it was real. Like, he was like, it's so clever, it's very funny, like he loved it, and Ebert hated it. He called it awful, terrible, dreadful, stupid, idiotic, unfunny, labored forced, painful, and bad. Tell us how you really feel, Ebert.
Yeah, he didn't always get it correct.
But this is one of those ones, like, famously, like, Siskel and Ebert also got into it over, like, Full Metal Jacket, you know, things like that. And I'm like, and then the other one is Brain Candy. They had a huge fight. I love it. Do you want to hear some other 96 movies?
Yes.
Okay. This is very timely. Twister.
Did you see the movie? The new one?
I did not yet. I think I might go see it because I really like Glenn Powell. I think he's a movie star. And the reviews have been okay. And even my kid was like, my son has expressed interest in maybe, possibly seeing it. And I'm like, that's enough for me.
We're going.
So we're going. But we have an episode. We have an episode on Twister. So if you want to go back and listen, we had thoughts and feelings about Twister.
Yes.
Are you going? You haven't gone back to the theater in a while. So I don't know if Twisters is enough to get you to go.
That is not enough to get me to go. No, also I've heard from people that it's a couple of friends that it wasn't very good.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
But I think your son will like it.
Yeah, he loves disaster movies. So
yeah.
I think he would be into it. Okay, another movie. Mary Riley.
Mary Riley.
That's all I remember. That's all I remember about Mary Riley. Down Periscope.
Oh, wow.
Remember that? Remember when we were going to make Kelsey Grammer a movie star?
How much money do you think Kelsey Grammer has? Like from Cheers?
So much
Frasier.
money.
I mean, that's like the Brinks truck, right?
Yeah, I have no doubt he's doing just fine. Well, his ex-wife was a Real Housewife.
Yeah, Camille.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure. Was she still married to him when she was?
She was married to him, and this is the whole thing: is that she was a total bitch on the show, and proudly, like just very smug and satisfied. And she always was bragging how she had this super rich husband, and he was stooping a flight attendant, and he was leaving his wife to go with this woman, and he married her and had kids with her.
Oh,
by the way, but he has said since then that he did the show because he wanted to give her something to before he left, basically, like give her a play. Yeah,
I did this favor for you.
And and then
ouch.
Yeah,
that hurts. Other movies, Flirting with Disaster.
I remember enjoying that.
I was mixed, but I actually think it might. I wonder if it would play better for me now than it did at the time.
Beth Stern is in that movie, by the way. Howard Stern's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's one of the twin girls, like the tall blondes that like attack. We should probably do that movie because it's been a while. It's been a while.
We could absolutely do that. I think you're a big fan of this one, Cold Comfort Farm.
Yes, it's wonderful.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so charming. It's really, really. It's Rufus Sewell. It's who else is in this?
Is it
movie?
Kate Beckinsale?
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah,
Beckinsale. She's in there. She's beautiful, and it's very sweet and charming.
I should watch.
It's really, really cute. I love that movie.
This one is not very comforting. Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Oh God, that fucked up movie.
It's fucked up.
My roommate.
It's good.
Saw it.
Fucked up.
Yeah. It's about this. What is her name? The actress. She was a teenager.
Heather Marazzo.
Yes, and has a crush on a guy that's in a band, and they play a song called "Welcome to the Doll." But it's the most depressing movie ever. And my roommate said she saw it with her boyfriend, and then she was crying in the subway the whole way home because she was just so bummed out by it.
Yeah, it's not a happy watch.
No, there was a lot of really depressing movies that came out in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, this guy kind of special. I forget. Todd
Corinne?
His name is
Todd Solondz.
Yes, he also did Happiness, which is a fucking bummer. Like he also did a movie just called like Wiener Dog, and I couldn't watch it because I went to the website Does the Dog Die, and well, that was enough to make me not go see it. Spoilers, everybody, for a movie you're totally not going to watch anyway, so it's fine. Okay, a few more movies. Courage Under Fire.
Is that the Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's got Meg Ryan in a very different role for her, and I want to say Denzel Washington.
I think it's a Denzel thing.
Yeah. And then Jack. Do you remember Jack?
That's a terrible movie.
We love Robin Williams here, but boy, he made some bad movies in the 90s, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
And then finally, one of those Pulp Fiction ripoffs, 2 Days in the Valley.
Oh, God, 2 Days in the Valley.
Not good.
No, it's not good. Charlize Theron.
Yeah, you won't want to spend those 2 days in the Valley, trust me.
No.
It's not good.
Do you want to hear about the top 10 songs for when this came out?
Yes.
It's 1996. Do you have the date? Is it August?
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
I think it is. Sorry. So
Yeah, it's okay.
Number 10, it's Whitney Houston and CeCe Winans, Count on Me.
I love all things Whitney Houston,
Yeah.
but I don't
sorry.
remember that one.
Number 9, SWV, You're the One.
I really like them too.
Busta Rhymes, Woo-Ha, Got You All in Check.
Woo-ha!
Number 7, this is a good song. Brandy, Sitting Up in My Room.
I love that song.
That's such a good. I loved Brandy.
Brandy has a new movie coming out.
Oh, really?
It looks scary. I think it's one of those A24 movies. I'm like, I'm into it.
Number 6, Coolio, 1, 2, 3, 4, Something New.
That song is a bop.
Number 5, R. Kelly, bleh, featuring Ronald Isley, Down Low. Yeah, we'll quickly leave him. Okay, number 4, Ironic, Alanis Morissette.
I love Alanis Morissette.
I do too.
She's great.
Number 3, Nobody Knows, Tony Rich Project. I don't know what that is.
I don't even know that song.
No, I like this one very much. Mariah Carey, Always Be My Baby.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I love that one
is a
too.
good one. And then number 1, Celine Dion, Because You Loved Me.
Okay.
That
That song was in the movie Up Close and Personal with Robert Redford and Michelle Pfeiffer. And that movie played at my theater. I listened to that song like 5 times a day
And you probably loved it, right?
I did, and I never got tired of it. And people at the theater used to make fun of me because they were like, Sonia likes that stupid Celine Dion song. And I was like, that song is dope. I would like sing along to it. I was like in there scooping up popcorn, singing along. And people were like, it's like 2 months later, and I'm still like, because you love me.
You know, I just realized we need to cover that movie.
We absolutely should. That would be a fun one.
Because that movie is a shit show. But it'd be a fun one to do.
It is. You're like, this is it. This is what we're doing here. It's bananas.
Yeah.
It's bananas. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
Well, on Netflix, we have Homicide LA.
Yes.
It was really good. What the first episode is about Lana Clarkson and the Phil Spector thing. And we covered that on What a Creep.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really good. I watched Cobra Kai has their new season.
Oh, what do you think?
I liked it.
I'm only still in the first season, so I can't judge.
It's season 6, and there's like 6 or 7 episodes. I don't know when the rest are coming out because they ended it once again. I thought it was the last season, but they ended on a cliffhanger. So we'll find out.
Okay.
On Max, I saw FAYE, which is the Faye Dunaway documentary.
Oh, how is it? That's on my list.
It's good.
Okay.
She sounds like a real piece of work.
Mm-hmm. This does not surprise me.
And then Apple Plus Presumed Innocent. We have the finale coming up.
I heard it was renewed for season 2, and I'm hoping that means it's a new case and not. I would like this one to resolve.
But who do you think did it?
I kind of think it might be Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, you think he's... Oh.
I'm wondering if he's guilty.
They keep showing how nuts he is. That like he has like a terrible temper.
Yeah.
I think it's Ray and his wife. Because
you think his attorney friend
lawyer.
And the wife did it?
Yes.
Oh.
That's where I'm going.
That's an interesting
be completely
one.
Wrong.
So my sister is all in on. She thinks it's the wife.
They're making it look like that, but I think it's too easy to say that. Like,
yeah. I also
because that's what it was in the original movie. By the way, spoiler.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on that. I also wonder, could it be the daughter? But I'm leaning more towards he did it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I love that I'm guessing. Like,
I love that everyone's guessing.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's the fun in it.
Yeah, it's really good too. Although, Hey, could y'all stop filming things so fucking dark?
It's very hard to see anything.
It is so hard to see. I'm so glad I watch it with the subtitles on. Like, it's so
Sometimes
dark.
that's all I can see are the subtitles.
Yes!
Because it's so freaking dark. I know.
I don't even know who half these people are. I just learned that Peter Sarsgaard's in this. Is it Sarsgaard? And
he's good, too.
He is really, really good. Is there anything else on your list?
Nope.
Okay. People who follow me on social know I've been obsessed with Love Island USA. They had their finale. I'm very pleased with how it ended. Like, I really, really like that ending. For the first time ever, they're also doing a reunion that Ariana is going to host, and I'm really excited for that because we all still have a lot of questions. I think the right couple won. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't maybe seen the finale yet, but I feel like the right couple won. I think that Final Four was the right Final Four. I love that this season really focused on the female friendships, and it wasn't women turning on each other and competing with each other. They all kind of had each other's back in a way that we don't see on other reality shows, especially dating shows. So it's one of the things I really enjoyed this season, and I hope reality producers learned a lesson here that we don't have to like be shitty to the women to stir up drama, but I doubt it. I also watched Simone Biles Rising.
Oh, how is that?
It's really, really good. That's on Netflix. Sprint is also on Netflix, and I love that I got these little stories before the Olympics, which are starting like next week, right? Or this weekend? I forget. I mean, she's a surprise. She's a crazy bananas, strong superwoman athlete. Like, there's a reason she's won so many medals. Like, it talks a lot about how she got the twisties, is what they call it, which is where she would jump in the air and she's flipping and twisting, and she would like lose her space, and how that can be really dangerous. You know, these people could land on their heads and break their necks, and
which is always my fear.
Yeah. Every time I watch, I think these people are going to fall and break their necks, basically. And how they are able to do what they are able to do, I am in awe of. And she is very, very strong. There's a lot of interviews with her husband, and he was on the radar. Was it last year where he was pretending like he didn't know who Simone Biles was when he met her? And everyone was like, fuck off. Like, you know who Simone... Like, he was acting like she isn't like the most decorated gymnast in the fucking world.
Right.
And he's like, no, man, I just thought she was this chick who slid into my DMs. And everyone was like, no one was buying it. But they seem very lovely. He seems very supportive, and she is very supportive of him. And I hope that that's a real thing, that they are really, truly that way. And I'm also watching Below Deck Med. I'm sure you have thoughts.
Oh, yes.
Like,
what are your thoughts?
Watching Ian hit on Ellie might be the most fucking awkward thing I've ever seen in my life.
My God. And he's not even like, he left the tender, and the battery went out, but it turns out it wasn't him, that it wasn't his fault. But he's so like not ball.
Yeah.
Like he picked a senior deckhand, and he didn't tell his captain.
Yes.
And he gave it to the person with less experience than Nathan.
Which shows he didn't read the resumes.
The CVs.
All. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't read them. So there's Ellie is one of the women. There's like really hot people, and
that's the whole thing. They're all hot people working on a yacht together.
Right. And it's great because they actually do have to work. Like they have to and sometimes you get like asshole yacht people, and sometimes they're great people and whatever. But so Ellie is from Bosnia or not the Ukraine, but she's like very smart. She's very funny, but she also has an attitude. She's got a problem with Bree because she and another woman, Bree, have the hots for a guy named Joe, eyebrows.
Yes.
And they've decided that because Ellie's decided because she's a little bit higher on the totem pole than Bree that she gets to hit on him, and
she gets dibs.
She gets dibs, and she's really mad when Joe and Bree like make out, and now she's like treating Bree like shit, and it's really unfair to Bree. And then I liked that Aisha like took Joe aside, like, can you please just calm down because these girls, whatever. But then Ian, who's just a dipshit, who's like just as oblivious,
can't read any social cues at all.
No, bless his heart, he just can't. And he doesn't he just is, he keeps screwing up, but he decides, like, I guess the producer's like, are you going to hit on Ellie? Who are you going to hit on? Because that's the whole thing. Like, they all hit on each other.
Yeah, they all hook up on their night off. Like, they all get trashed and dance and make out, and that's what they do.
And they flirt with each other because it's like, it's a menial job. You're kind of, you're stuck in this small space. Like, you can make good money, and you only have to work a few months out of the year, but you have to keep these gigs going. But anyway, Ian is hitting on Ellie, and he's so fucking awkward, and he's bad. And she wears, like, first they're saying the guests are leaving the ship, and he's standing next to her, and she's flirting with Joe, like, should I wear my bodysuit tonight or something else? And he's responding, and she's not asking you, dude. She's asking Joe. And then he's like, I like your lipstick. And she's like,
and she's like,
thanks.
and she like, turns her back to him and is like, so Joe, should I wear my bodysuit tonight or my little dress or, and Ian's like, duh. And then they
bodysuit.
I think you should wear the bodysuit. Yeah, that's a good call. She's not asking you, Ian.
Not asking you, Ian. And then she wears the bodysuit, and then they go out to drinks, and then Aisha's sitting with Joe, and she's like, please, just for one.
Yeah, put a pin in it, dude.
Put a pin in it for now, dude, because we need them to get along. He's like, okay, fine. So then nobody's hitting on Ellie, and then just Ian's literally just standing in front of her, hitting on her. It's just like, how you doing? Do you like to dance? Do you like music? And it's, oh, bless his heart, like I said.
Yeah, he's just like, I know everybody here is telling you how beautiful you are, and I am also going to tell you how beautiful you are. And she's like, okay, thanks. And like, she's just sitting there in silence. And she's like, yeah, I don't really like talking that much. And then he just takes that as, I'll do all the talking. And he follows her wherever she's going. And he's like, what are you drinking? I'm going to drink that too. Oh, do you like your drink? Blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, trying to like get away.
She's like, my bodysuit's working, but it's on the wrong person.
Yes. No social cues are working on this man, and I don't know if that's worked out for him in the past, but it's not working this time.
No, and he's not bad looking. I mean, the hair is not great.
No, I mean, I'm sure he's a very nice person. She's not interested, and he's not picking up the vibe. She's probably just going to have to say, no, I'm not. She's trying to be polite.
She's doing that thing as women that we do, which is you're nice, you're polite, you laugh at someone's joke, you like respond to them when they ask you a question. This is just being polite, and he's taking that as like, I'm gonna make my move.
Yeah, she's
and I'm just
interested.
Gonna keep hitting on her. Yeah, and they even ask her, "Are you interested in him?" No.
And he should just ask her, to be honest, like, are you remotely interested in this? But that's not how some people work. He's I don't know if he's hoping he can wear her down, or again, if he's taking her politeness as interest. But we've all been Ellie, where we're trying to like we're trying to give them a way out and like save their ego by like by just being polite and not extending it and not showing interest. And he's not picking up what she's putting down.
No,
it's really awkward to watch.
And it's like when they get out, like it's their one time to like let loose and have fun. And she wants to let loose and have fun, and she's beautiful, and she's wearing this sexy bodysuit.
Yep.
And she's got this annoying guy following her everywhere on the dance floor.
It's ruining it for her.
Yeah.
Like, he's being the world's worst wingman, basically. Like, it's just really, really cringe to watch. But if you like cringe stuff, check out Below Deck Med.
I've been going back and watching Below Deck Med from the beginning, and then going back to Below Deck. I'm like, I'm so missing Down Under.
Yeah,
we need a
me
new
too.
season. I know he's filming. Jason is filming,
Oh,
and I think
good.
it's outside Africa. I think Africa is the next port.
Ooh.
I know it's a big continent, but it's somewhere in Africa where they're doing the sailing yacht. So
Okay.
we are getting our Jason back.
Okay, good. I'm glad because Love Island USA is done now, so I have some space to fill. If you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called Dorking Out, where we dork out about the creeps from the past to the present. Our episode out right now is about toxic fandom. So we're talking about like Star Wars fans and Star Trek fans and Marvel and DC and all that stuff. A lot of people in our What a Creep podcast group are chiming in with other toxic fandoms. It's really fun episode, I think. And this week Margot is going to be leading, but I don't know what we're going to be talking about yet this week. So it'll be
a surprise. It's going to be an old-timey Hollywood scandal.
My favorite.
Yes.
These are my favorites. My friend, where can they find you on the internet?
My site is brooklynfitchick.com. I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Instagram and Threads, and then I'm at Brooklyn Margot for TikTok and Twitter.
Follow Margot on